Wow. Okay, so dazed and confused. Now I bring you a bedazzling specter from one of the most hilarious men I've ever seen or met. I bring you Bud E. Love.
Please, don't stand. It's not necessary. Kneel before me!
Made it!
How y'all doing? Welcome to Las Vegas, Nevada, folks. I'd like to read a few passages from my book entitled You Ought to Be Me, How to Be a Lounge Singer and Live Like One. This book has changed the lives of 14 people. Let's start off with, I think, place perfect to start. My talent, the incredible burden. It's true, having talent is a burden. And sometimes the weight is overwhelming. People often ask me, Buddy, how do you carry the heavy burden of your talent so gracefully? Simple. I wear a talent brace. Saying $49.95 to Talent Brace, House of Love Box, 711 Las Vegas, Nevada, 85103. No checks, please. But even so, when you're the special me that I am, sometimes the ordinary Buddy gets lost. I get confused, the voices blur in my head. You're the greatest. You're a legend. The white zone is for loading and unloading only. At times like these, I have to catch myself. What do? I stop and smell the cactus. I go to the desert, I get out of the limo, get away from the marquee with my name on it in huge letters, away from the standing ovations, away from the groupies, and listen, you should do this too. If you can't go to the desert, go into your closet. Close the door, stand among your clothes in the dark, and listen. If you've got an enormously large talent like I do, you've got to learn to live with it. Buy a king-size bed. Yes, absolutely, buy a king-size bed for your talent. Remember, you've got to sleep with yourself at night. Add a wing to your home. Your talent needs room to breathe. Wear pantaloons. Remember, only you can face yourself in the morning in front of that mirror with all those beautiful tiny little lights around it. No one can do it for you. When you're feeling the burden, when you're at that painful crossroads, stop, breathe, wait, listen, touch your medallion. And remember, Buddy goes through this every day. Oh yes, for the poetry challenge. Hair. Oh, this is going to give you the chapter. Yes. The right hair, the rud, the plug, the Caesar, the Scramble, or the Handicap, which is always good for the Paul's Hatwork people out there. Hair. Oh my God, people, what is this I see on your heads? Ouch! What mental processes are taking place here? Allow me to digress. Can I say mammal? What does mammal mean? It means hair. H-A-I-R. We're mammals, right? We have hair, right? Some of you act like this is news. Come on, people, focus. If you have hair, don't treat it like a dreaded relative visiting your scalp. Respect it. It makes you who you are, a mammal. Groom it. Take care of your hair. Don't write your name in it. Don't cut it like a hedge. It's not shrubbery. Don't paint it blue. Don't tease it to death. How would you like to be teased to death? Your hair is a living, loving extension of you. It is a fleet-footed messenger running, flowing, flying out before you, telling the world who you are, and saying, hello, I just got out of bed, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, let's swing. What your hair says is up to you, but whatever it says, it should say it loud! Make your hair significant. Use lotion, mousse, spray. Use petroleum hair products if you have to. Give it depth, dimension, sangroid, loft. Create levels. Choose colors decisively, and for God's sakes, lose the gray. Now, let's stop right here. A lot of people come to me and say, buddy, the advice is fine, but what about me? They lower their heads, and I see the reflection of my perfectly coiffed hair in a shining dome that was once home to a healthy set of locks. This irony always tears me apart. I know I'm talking to someone who will never have a bad hair day, but there's hope. It can be different. It can be fixed. It can be purchased. As the swallows return to Capistrano, so too can a hair return to your head. It may not be your hair. It may not be hair at all. But you will have a voice again. Don't delay, don't skimp, buy a lot and buy it now. Don't be afraid people will notice you're wearing a piece. They will. Who cares? What matters is that you can still do television. The hairpiece, the toupee, the rug, call it what you will, but if done correctly, a career is saved, tragedy is averted. Most important, the chicks in your self-respect are back.
Yeah.
The fit is critical. Try the George Burns test. If you can fit a number 4 Antonio and Cleopatra cigar between the nape of your neck and the rug, it's too big. Size down. Color, all important. Match your piece to whatever existing hair you still have. If it's gray, dye it. Now, try to make the texture as natural as possible. Avoid the chocolate pudding Bob's big boy look. Keep the texture lifelike, the tempo lively. Have several styles. Have several toupees for that matter. And be sure to pay top dollar for all of them. But remember, first and foremost, purchase a top quality glue. Wind is your enemy. No one wants to see their hair on the ground. The broad you're with doesn't want you chasing your rug around the tennis court. Now let's talk about plugs. Strangers in the night, skoo-dooby-doo-boo. It was right after I'd written that song for Frank. We were in the studio when he told me, Mia hates the rug, what do I do? I had him call my close personal friend, hair surgeon Donald Poliopoulos. He was at the cutting edge of hair plug technology at the time. I knew Frank would love him. Of course, they hit it off, and the next thing I knew, Frank had a new look, a new love, and another hit record that I'd written for him. Pretty soon, everyone was doing it. Some with more success than others, but it was something new, and I'm proud to say I helped pioneer the acceptance of plugs. Hair plug technology has improved so much over the years that many of my doming friends are back in the thick of things. God bless them. And now for the Caesar and the Scramble. Both of these travesties are trademarks of the tragic, disillusioned entertainer who thinks he has enough hair to work with but doesn't. This deluded being will stretch a few sad strands of hair he has left in any direction on his scalp, hoping to retrieve his youth, hoping to create the illusion of hair. He's sadly mistaken. He's fooling himself. This is a battle that cannot be won. It's a hair Vietnam. With the Caesar, all of the remaining hair at the back of the head is aggressively pushed forward across the dome and onto the forehead. If you're lucky, you get the wispy, mawkish little bangs. And what have you created? Do you really think you look like a Roman emperor? Who are you, Domus Aegulus? Do you hear the chick speaking Latin? If you must resort to the Caesar, buy a lot of grapes and plan to eat them alone. Wake up, Aegulus, you look ridiculous. Do yourself a favor, put a rug on that marble floor. Now, the Scramble is another nightmare. The Scrambler begins by growing 10 inches of hair right next to his ear, on one side only. He meticulously parts it just above the ear, then combs the rest straight across to the other ear, like a New York to Tokyo flight crossing the North Pole. Fine if you want your head to look like an airline rug mat. Are you listening, Don Rickles? I kid Don, he's nuts about me. Now, the creative Scramble. The creative scrambler combs the strands in a circular pattern, like the trade winds, creating a dizzying effect. What happens in the wind? I'd rather see an autopsy photo. Without spray, the hair is suddenly airborne, standing straight out from the head 10 inches, revealing a blinding dome. Everyone's running for cover. With spray, and I mean several cans, the entire hair mass hinges off the scalp like an open cockpit. It's a hairline flight you don't want to be on. If you choose to scramble, get ready to gain 30 pounds because you're never going outside again. You're never going anywhere. You're a shut-in. Guys, wise up, smell the Java, get a rug, or get plugs. Finally, there's what I like to call the handicap. It's the cheapest and quickest way to cover insufficient hair. Put a hat on it.
Woo!
A bald hat. It's very expensive, what I might add. But it doesn't work in the lounge unless you're Hank Williams Jr. or Johnny Lee. It's disrespectful. The only time the handicap is justified is in the morning hours to hire morning hair. Okay, now, this... Are you ready for a couple more? How's my time? Am I? One more? Okay. Well, let me get this one is very important.
How to handle hecklers?
No.
That is in the book.
This is pay top dollar for everything.
Yeah.
And that means hats. Paul's Hatworks. And if I may say something on behalf of Paul's Hatwork, because I become enamored with these four broads. I got respect for chicks, you know, I really do. And I walked into their little shop, I went, wow, this is a swinging place. I had to make me a hat, then I come back, pick up the hat, buy another hat.
Yeah.
And while I got that hat, I decide I'm gonna order another hat. So they made it for me right before Christmas, and I was most appreciative. Now, after that, I gave them a sizable, you know, being the cat that I am, a sizable contribution. I call it an investment in their New York endeavor, and I hope all of you will, and do it in a big way. Now, that's my big plug for you guys, because I believe in you, and I hope you'll do extremely well. And with that in mind, my last chapter, pay top dollar for everything. Some people say the United States Senate is the most exclusive club in the world. Baloney! A fraternity of lounge singers is, and you don't join this fraternity without paying top dollar. The lounge is no place for whiners. I don't want to hear, but I was trying to get a deal. My friend got it wholesale. It was such a bargain. Hey, get off my cloud. Did Frank get it wholesale? No! Did Dean Martin scrounge around a thrift shop looking for a Lamb's Wool V-neck sweater? No! He went to Carolyn Company on Rodeo Drive and he came home with a garment he could be proud of. If you have friends who run around paying wholesale, get new friends. If you're going to be in this club, you must pay and be seen paying top dollar for everything you need or don't need. The words, I don't care what it costs, I've got to have it, should come as easily to you as breathing. Believe me, there's no better feeling than walking into a fine haberdashery, exquisite jewelry store, or a fine hat place, and paying the full ticket price. No one does. That's why you should. It sets you apart. You're above the fray, you own the shop, you own the profession. Look at it this way. If you pay $5,000 for a suit, you know you're wearing a beautifully hand-constructed $5,000 suit. No one can take that away from you. On the other hand, if you pay, say, $500 for the same suit, what are you saying? Are you saying I don't have $5,000? Is this the message that you want to send to yourself and to others? Are you saying, oh, I'm only willing to spend $500 on my suit and I'm putting the other $4,500 into something else? What? Are you nuts? This is show business. This is your wardrobe. What else are you putting your money into? Your children's education? Wake up! Did Liberace pimp pennies so he could beef up his stamp collection? No! He became a legend by wearing every dime of his disposable income. He had style. And that style cascaded off his shoulders, dripped from his fingers, and spilled over onto the piano. He made millions paying top dollar. Liberace was a charter member of the fraternity of lounge singers. I miss him very much. I want you to join this club. The club needs new blood. I wouldn't be writing this book if I didn't want you to have the privilege of being a member. But if you think the door swings open for bargain hounds, guess again. Quality is never cheap. Style, true style, costs money. Spend it.